Imagine committing a blatant robbery in plain sight, running across a single city street, and instantly becoming completely untouchable to the police officers chasing you. In 1829, this wasn't a hypothetical loophole, it was the law. When Sir Robert Peel unleashed the world's first modern, disciplined police force onto the chaotic streets of London, he promised to end the reign of street thieves and violent gangs. But he ran directly into a legal brick wall. A wall built not by criminals, but by the ultra-wealthy elite of the city's financial heart. By weaponizing ancient medieval charters, these powerful elites successfully banned the new police from crossing into their territory. In doing so, they accidentally created a literal sanctuary for crime, where the law itself protected the guilty to keep the government out. This is the story of how a jurisdictional nightmare changed the rules of justice forever. To understand how this loophole existed, you have to look at London in the early 1800s. It was a sprawling, booming metropolis of over 1 million people, but its security system was stuck in the Middle Ages. The streets were patrolled by night watchmen, frequently nicknamed Charlies. These were often elderly men, underpaid, untrained, and easily bribed with a pint of ale or a few shillings to look the other way. If a violent gang took over an alleyway, the watchmen simply stayed on the main road. For the average citizen, the law offered virtually no protection. If you were robbed, your best hope wasn't to call the police, because they didn't exist. Your best hope was to hire a private thief-taker who was often just a criminal operating with a license. The justice system was entirely reactive, waiting for a crime to happen and a citizen to complain rather than preventing it. The city was on the brink of social collapse, and everyone knew something had to change. Enter Sir Robert Peel. In 1829, as Home Secretary, he pushed through a revolutionary piece of legislation, the Metropolitan Police Act. This law created the Bobbies, or Peelers, the world's first professional, salaried, and uniformly dressed police force. They weren't there to just catch criminals after the fact. Their core mission was to prevent crime through constant, disciplined patrolling. Almost overnight, the dynamics of London changed. Blue-coated officers began marching through the city's most notorious slums, establishing order through a strict chain of command. For the first time, criminals faced an organized adversary that couldn't be easily bribed or intimidated. But Peel's grand vision had a massive, glaring blind spot. A blind spot exactly 1 square mile in size. That blind spot was the City of London, the ancient, ultra-wealthy financial district at the heart of the capital. When Peel was drafting his bill, the Lord Mayor and aldermen of the city fiercely revolted. They claimed their own traditional constables were already perfectly organized, and that allowing a government-controlled police force into their borders was an insult to their independence. Politically, Peel couldn't fight them. To get his historic bill passed, he had to make a drastic compromise. He explicitly excluded the City of London from his new police force's jurisdiction. This created an absurd legal boundary. If a thief stole a gold watch on one side of the street, they were in the Metropolitan Police District. But if they ran across the invisible border into the square mile, Peel's men legally had a halt. They had no authority to make an arrest, no right to pursue, and no power to cross the line. The law, designed to protect the ancient privileges of wealthy merchants, had accidentally handed criminals a tactical shield. The consequences of this legal barrier were immediate and disastrous. As the new Metropolitan Police successfully cleared thieves and pickpockets out of the surrounding neighborhoods, the criminal underworld didn't disappear, it simply migrated. Criminals quickly mapped out the exact streets where the metropolitan jurisdiction ended and the city's jurisdiction began. A sophisticated game of cat and mouse developed. Gangs would launch raids into the modern, protected sectors of London, grab their loot, and sprint directly toward the square mile. Once their boots hit the cobblestones of the city, they could slow down to a walk, look back at the frustrated metropolitan officers stranded on the other side of the border, and vanish into the crowds. The ancient night watchmen of the city were completely overwhelmed, and the financial heart of the empire was rapidly becoming a chaotic safe haven for the city's worst offenders. By 1832, the crisis had reached a breaking point. The data was undeniable. While the rest of London was seeing dropping crime rates and orderly streets, the wealthy city of London was drowning in the spillover. The stark contrast between Peel's disciplined, uniformed officers and the city's chaotic, ineffective watchmen became a massive public embarrassment for the Lord Mayor and his aldermen. The city fathers realized their stubbornness had backfired. Their pride had created a loophole too glaring to ignore, and the public pressure to fix it was mounting. But the wealthy elite still refused to let the centralized government control their streets. They needed a solution that would close the criminal loophole, restore order, and, most importantly, allow them to keep their ancient independence. To solve the crisis without bruising their pride, the city authorities executed a brilliant legal maneuver. They didn't surrender to Sir Robert Peel, nor did they hand over their keys to the Metropolitan Police. Instead, they weaponized the law one more time. In 1832, the city fathers decided to create their own entirely independent police force. It would be an exact mirror image of Peel's system. The same uniforms, the same strict discipline, the same structure under permanent magistrates' offices, but with one crucial difference. It would be funded and controlled entirely by the city itself. This administrative twist solved the security crisis while fiercely preserving their autonomy. It ensured that London would forever be a tale of two territories, policed by two entirely separate entities that persist to this day. This historic standoff reveals a deeper truth about how the justice system actually works. Today, we often view jurisdictional boundaries as annoying bureaucratic red tape or technical loopholes that let the guilty walk free. But in the 1830s, those boundaries were seen as a vital defense mechanism. The English legal tradition was deeply terrified of a centralized, government-controlled police force, viewing it as a potential tool for absolute state tyranny and mass surveillance. The wealthy elite of the City of London didn't protect their archaic security system because they loved crime. They protected it because they feared an all-powerful state even more. The law allowed a dangerous loophole to exist for years, prioritizing local municipal independence over immediate police efficiency. It reminds us that the invisible boundaries drawn to protect citizens from an overreaching government are often the exact same lines that criminals use to slip through the cracks. In the end, the law didn't fix the system by tearing down the walls, but by forcing the system to evolve, proving that the shield of justice is only as strong as the boundaries we choose to enforce.